Welcome to Module 1, Lesson 3. So you probably just got done reading an excerpt from A Century of Dishonor, and it was a pretty gripping text. It was a strong indictment of the U.S. government and how they treated Native Americans, pushing them off their land and whatnot. And again, it was a pretty strong indictment of white Americans, and for some people, talking about that can be pretty uncomfortable. A personal anecdote: in my class, I teach at Pomona High School, and our population is majority Latino Chicano. Maybe it's like 90% Latino Chicano, and I would say like 5%, 7-8% African American. Point being, there's very few white Americans here. And in one of my classes this past semester, when we were talking about this type of stuff, there was one white American young lady there, and it was uncomfortable for me to be talking about this because you see all these people around her, and she's the only one that identifies as a white American, and it's tough to I couldn't feel bad, like maybe she feels singled out. But as uncomfortable as that may be, it needs to get taught. We need to be able to talk about it. We need to face history. These things really happen. It's really a disservice when we avoid things, especially race-based things, just because they're uncomfortable. One thing that we're doing is we're taking perspective away from our students. We're sending them off into the world with an incomplete picture of what really happened. And a scary thought is, for the students who don't go to college, your history class is going to be in high school, is going to be one of the last history classes that they take. So it's our responsibility as history teachers to give them a picture of the world. And for the students who will go to college, maybe not all of them will take a history class. So it's a big responsibility for us. And also, another disservice that we're doing is if we don't teach these uncomfortable topics, if we shy away from them because it's uncomfortable, we're erasing a group of people from the American narrative, whatever group of people we don't teach about because it's too uncomfortable for us. And that's pretty bad. It's not good. It's one thing that I've heard a lot from educators, just people in general, when we're talking about race and history and all that stuff, is this idea of subscribing to an ideology of color blindness. A lot of people say, well, I don't see race, I don't see I don't see color. I don't know why we should be talking about race. If we stop talking about race and racism, maybe it'll go away. But that's a very problematic way of thinking. If we don't talk about a group of people, like how we just mentioned, if we don't talk about a group of people, we erase them from the narrative. If we don't talk about, groups of people that may be oppressed today, we're erasing their experiences from the narrative. We're totally erasing their opinions and perspectives. And also, I don't recall any. I don't really know of a problem that goes away when you stop talking about it or ignoring it. So if it would be silly to think that that's a solution to a problem, then why do a lot of us sometimes say, oh, if we stop talking about racism and be colorblind, then all this racism stuff will go away? So it's important to talk about these things, as difficult as they are, because believe me, they're difficult for everybody. We still need to talk about them. So your assignment for this lesson is you're going to read an article about color blindness, and you're going to make a video addressing the following question: what do you think about the ideology of color blindness, and how will that inform the way you teach uncomfortable topics? So the question is written in the in the lesson. Just make a video about answering that question. How do you feel about the ideology of color blindness, and how will your feelings about that ideology inform the way you teach uncomfortable topics? So what I want you guys to do is print it out and practice the marking the text strategy one more time. Thank you. Bye.